I'm Faye Watt, and let's queer up health. Experts weigh the benefits and risks of Clitoxin for sexual wellness. A growing number of women are turning to Clitoxin, an off-label Botox treatment injected around the clitoris, in hopes of improving arousal, lubrication, and orgasm. But experts say the research is limited and results are far from guaranteed. The treatment is not approved by the FDA for sexual wellness use, but it has gained traction as part of a broader movement around sexual health and pleasure-focused care. According to Suzannah Weiss, a sex therapist and resident sexologist at sex toy company Fleshy, quote, people get this procedure for easier arousal and orgasms, as well as stronger orgasms and more wetness, end quote. Aesthetic nurse practitioner Chris Bustamante says the injections may affect, quote, the autonomic nervous system, local blood flow, and neuromuscular signaling involved in arousal and orgasm, end quote. Though he cautions that evidence is still emerging. Experts also warn that Clitoxin is not a quick fix for sexual dysfunction or menopause-related symptoms. Bustamante says, quote, there are no magic shots, end quote, emphasizing the importance of full sexual wellness evaluations and communication between partners. Some specialists believe queer women may be more open to discussing treatments focused on pleasure and body autonomy. Possible side effects include bruising, swelling, infection, altered sensation, and damage and nerve damage if performed improperly. The procedure can cost between $1,000 and $2,500 and typically needs to be repeated every 3 to 6 months. Women, you know, we're smarter than dudes, all right? Let's be real, okay? Dudes inject things into their penis all the time for sexual satisfaction without even thinking about the side effects or things that can happen. We don't do that kind of stuff, women, especially down there. Be careful. And the fact that this is not FDA approved, like this is your personal area, you know. I've talked about ball maxing, you know, when they inflate your balls, right? Mm-hmm. And there's also like saline infusions for men's penis, you know, to keep them erect longer, etc., right? And that saline just goes right into the body and goes away. You know, for this, there's not enough data, you know. Women, if you're thinking about doing this, get a new partner instead. Okay? That is my advice for you.
I don't want to speak for all women here. Obviously, that's your job. But no, I think part of the reason though that people are looking to do this off-label use is because there's not enough research into women's sexual health and women's sexual pleasure. And so you start going and trying for just about anything you can get.
Yeah.
That said, you got to remember things like Viagra was originally a heart medication, mm-hmm. and it quickly became the boner pill of choice, and that got FDA approval toot sweet. So I don't know if this is going to be safe ultimately or not, but let's at least get the research going. Let's get some more, like you said, let's get some data facts in here, because if it does work, there's a lot of people that are going to be helped.
Mm-hmm. It always makes me wonder how these medical discoveries happen, because I know people, you know, they take Botox injections all the time. And then it became a trend where it's like, oh, if you're suffering from headaches and migraines, you know that Botox shots would help decrease, headaches and stuff like that. But like, who injected Botox into their roast beef to discover that, you know, this was something that can actually happen, you know? So it's kind of scary when it comes to, you know, these medical, quote unquote, medical discoveries. Mm-hmm. And then also the long-term effects of some of these things, because we never know what could happen 20, 30 years down the line.
Well, I mean, and they said in the story, done improperly. That means somebody could do this improperly and or doing it themselves, mm-hmm. and causing some really irreparable damage down there.
I mean, that's something that I would never explore myself, injecting anything into my sexual organs. But I think I can understand a little bit of you know, why we might look into something like this for women. But, you know, for me, I think of sexual dysfunction and I immediately go to men, because I think maybe women do not. So this is educating me in a way that there are levels of, you know, dysfunction for even women, you know, for this. So it's good educational.
Right. And at the end of the day, talk to your doctor. And if you don't have a doctor that you can talk to, change your doctor. Yeah. Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.